You ever have a day where the rain's coming down so hard? It feels like it's trying to wash the whole world clean, and all it does is make the marble steps of Sterling Industries shine brighter for people who'd rather see you slip? Yeah, that's how it started. I was rolling up to the building, sketch tube clutched in my lap like a shield, and all these Soot's Big Shot executives with too much time and not enough empathy were pointing their phones at me, whispering like my life was their entertainment. Then, Serena, yeah, the CEO with the kind of red dress that says, "Get out of my way," or "Get run over," she looks down at me, all fake smiles, and says, "Pity additions are downstairs." Before I could shoot back, this tiny voice slices through the noise. "Mom." And this little boy maybe breaks from the crowd and just wraps himself around my leg, like I'm the safest place on earth. You could hear the air go out of the room. Suddenly everyone's staring at the janitor Elias, frozen, eyes wide. And right then, with humiliation hanging heavy, I realized every secret in that building was just waiting for someone brave enough to tell the truth. But you gotta back up a bit, 18 months to be exact. Back when folks pointed at me as proof that if you just work hard enough, you'll get somewhere. Born to a mom who cleaned office buildings at night, I fought tooth and nail through architecture school on a scholarship nobody thought I'd keep. By 30, I was the rising star at Sterling Design Harbor Commons, made the cover of a couple trade journals. People trusted my instincts. Even Serena, when she first showed up, tried to lure me into her inner circle with a fancy title. And then bam. My ex-fiancé, hammered and angry, plowed his car into mine at a red light. 3 surgeries for months in rehab, and one doctor with the bedside manner of a robot told me, permanent paralysis below T10. And just like that, the ground dropped out from under me. The guy who hit me faced charges, but what I faced was something else. Coming back to work in a wheelchair, you'd think folks would treat you the same if they respected you before, but no. Suddenly, I was invisible. Like the chair erased everything I'd done. People tiptoed around, acted like I'd break if they asked me a hard question. Clients wondered if I could handle a project anymore. My confidence took some serious body blows. But breaking? Not an option. I'd watched my mom raise me solo, juggling 3 jobs and a busted car, and I knew resilience wasn't a choice, it was survival. So I adapted new desk setup, recalibrated my tools, and threw myself into the ugliest, most forgotten project in the company, City Parkland on the waterfront. The place was a lawsuit waiting to happen, steep, broken, a mess. But where they saw trouble, I saw a shot at something real, a park built for kids with disabilities, a place designed for everybody, not just the able-bodied few. Ramps that flowed, play structures for kids with weak arms, sensory zones for children who couldn't handle chaos. And in the back of my mind, my mom's old line echoed, "If you're going to do something, do it for the folks no one else sees." Now, about Elias the janitor, right? Not exactly. 9 years as a mechanical engineer before corporate politics chewed him up. He found out the hard way that calling out safety violations like a busted ramp that got ignored until a worker got hurt doesn't make you a hero, just a target. The CFO, Clinton, and Serena, they squashed his reports, called it restructuring, and shuffled him to janitorial half-pay. But at least his kid, Leo, kept his school fund. Pride swallowed. Elias mopped floors, kept the place humming, and tried not to let bitterness win. Leo now, that kid's got eyes like radar. He saw his dad's roughened hands, the way his shoulders tightened walking past the building. But you know when he lit up? In the evenings, out at the park, where I'd be sketching, measuring, just trying to believe the project could still happen. Leo would come over, chalk in hand, drawing impossible ramps and rocket slides. One day I asked, "What are you building?" He shrugs, says, "A park where my dad doesn't have to be sad." I swear, I laughed for the first time in months. He started meeting me there every week. I'd show him why a slope matters, why playgrounds should welcome every kid. He soaked it up like kids do when you talk to them straight. Elias found us together one evening, me in my chair, Leo holding my sketches. I could see something shift in him, that recognition of someone who refuses to vanish just because life said sit down. But Serenade didn't get me started. She saw that waterfront and thought condos, luxury shops, profits. My accessible park? A speed bump on her path to Harbor Towers, where only the rich would ever play. She put her fixer, Amanda, on me mails marked pending review. Endless bureaucracy. When that didn't stall me, Serena got clever set me up to showcase my project at the Autumn Gala, with city officials and cameras everywhere. Great opportunity, they said. Uh-huh. I prepped for weeks, believing if I nailed it, the project would sell itself. The morning of the gala, Elias shows up early, making sure the ramp he built in his own time. Mind you, worked smooth as glass. I rolled over it and felt, for the first time in a while, like someone saw my dignity in the details. That night, the room was packed. Serena in her power dress, Amanda stage managing every shot, the press lurking. I spoke about real inclusion, about the danger of telling kids they don't belong. I showed them Leo's ideas, Elias's engineering. For 7 minutes, I thought I was getting through. Then Clinton laughs. These numbers are staggering, he says, dismissing years of work as a vanity project. Serena nods, Amanda spins city budget excuses, and then off course someone starts filming. Instead of my work, they're recording me, asking, how do you manage a project from a wheelchair? Like it's a magic trick. The pity, the skepticism in the room, man, it hit hard. I wheeled to the corner, fighting back tears, when Leo barreled through the crowd calls me Mom, like it's the most obvious thing in the world. The place went dead quiet. Elias looked panicked, Serena looked furious, and suddenly, the story wasn't about budgets or pity. It was about a child who saw more than anybody in that room. Now, Helen, head of security, 63, sharp as a tax, seen it all from the back of the room. She'd been quietly tracking safety violations, emails, all the ways Clinton and Serena put profit over people. Watching Leo claim me as Mom, that moved her to action. The next day, she dropped an encrypted email in my inbox, years of files, proof of every dirty trick. That's when the tide turned. Elias and I, we started working side by side, redesigning the park, him showing me how to cut friction in the swings, me teaching him slow calculations. Leo napped on my couch while we dreamed bigger. I told Elias, your work is brilliant. Any company that can't see fat hats their problem. He told me his ex left because he wasn't ambitious enough. I said, then she never saw you. Something changed between us, partnership, respect, the kind of connection that doesn't care about titles or setbacks. We decided to go all in. Vivian, the community advocate, helped us bring everything to the Harbor Development Committee, the files, the model, the real cost analysis. We knew we were risking everything, me career, Elias's, maybe even Leo's privacy. But silence meant letting those people keep building their towers on the backs of folks they'd rather pretend didn't exist. The committee meeting late autumn, rain drumming on the windows, I opened with a story, not stats. Told them about a girl who thought her life was over because her body had changed and how she learned that wasn't the end. Elias showed his model. Helen presented the evidence. Serena attacked, called me sentimental, said I was being used. But Vivian brought the signatures, the families, the people who needed this park. And then Leo, brave as Kimba, walked up and said, my dad tried to help. Nobody listened. Miss Rosalind helps me be brave. We need people who help us be brave. The room exploded. Unanimous vote, the park got greenlit. Investigation launched into Sterling Industries. Serena and Clinton? Out. Amanda disappeared. Helen promoted. Elias back as lead engineer, me contracted as lead designer, but on my own terms, my own agency. It wasn't just about a job anymore. It was about building something that said everyone belongs. 3 months later, spring sunshine, the park opened. Ramps curled like calligraphy, sensory gardens blooming, every detail designed for dignity. The first day, kids of every ability played together, parents cried, journalists snapped photos, but mostly, people just lived. Helen was there, Vivian too, and Elias, well, he got down on one knee, right there by the swings. I spent my life fixing things. I didn't know you could build something brand new. Will you marry me? I said yes before he finished. We got married under a pavilion I designed for shade. Not show. Leo carried the rings and asked if he could call me Mom for real now. And everyone laughed, the kind of laugh that makes hope feel normal again. A month later, the city put up a bronze plaque for every child who chose courage. Leo and Vivian's names included, because this wasn't just my dream, it belonged to all of us. The park became a destination, sure, but more than that, it was a promise that no one gets left behind. We built more parks, more spaces where access was the foundation, not an afterthought. And on quiet nights, the three of us, me wheeling, Elias walking, Leo skipping ahead, we'd pass the swings, and I'd remember that moment when a child's voice called me mom and rewrote everything I thought I knew about strength. So, here's my question. When was the last time you let someone rewrite what you thought was possible? When did you last stand up or roll up for someone who needed you? Drop your stories, your opinions, your battles about what's fair and what's right down in the comments. Let's build something together, because justice isn't a luxury, it's a blueprint, and every single one of us has a hand in drawing it.